governor cannot remove an elected chairman or councillor of a local government set by the Supreme Court. And the president remove that Section 305 allows the president to declare a state of emergency in the entire federation if the country is at war. Now, who is going to prosecute the war? Will the president resign, or I hereby remove myself?
So, Femi Falana, in an interview with Seun Okemaloye this evening, mentioned the same thing where every lawyer don't they talk about for this Nigeria. Say nowhere for the constitution give the president power to comot or suspend the governor of a state. Where then did this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have the power to do so? And how come the Attorney General no fit advise the president on the right thing to do? This na question where everybody they ask. How come the president no get better advisors, or the Attorney General no fit advise the president on the right thing to do, on the fact say he no get the power to comot a sitting president? This is a question where a lot of people they ask, and would they wonder the kind of people where the president they keep around them. How come a president and the Attorney General of the Federation no understand say the constitution no give the president power to do what he do? Well, listen to this interview with Femi Falana.
I'm not really interested in the politics of this matter, but in the relevant provisions of the Constitution. I was making the point that there are 320 sections of the Constitution. Nowhere is the president empowered to remove the governor of a state or suspend the governor of a state, suspend the deputy governor of a state, suspend the legislators in a state. Incidentally, the current administration, the current Bola Tinubu administration, sued the 36 state governors last year, or state government, over the removal of the dissolution of elected local government councils and replacement with sole administrators or caretaker committees. The Supreme Court, 7 justices unanimously heard on that point that it is illegal and unconstitutional to remove, by governors to remove elected chairmen and councillors. It stands to reason that the president of the republic cannot remove an elected governor or suspend legislature. It is stated in Section 11 Section 4, for the avoidance of doubt, that even when the National Assembly takes over the legislative functions of a state to make laws because the House of Assembly is unable to see, it is stated there that provided that the governor and the deputy governor shall not be removed from office. So, I mean, you can only remove a governor by, or suspend a governor either on ground that is indisposed. If a governor resigns, he can be removed. If he dies in office, the office becomes vacant. In the case of Plateau State, President Bola accused Governor Dari of not taking appropriate steps. Before then, President Bola warned that he was going to impose a state of emergency on Lagos in the year 2000. Governor Tinubu, as it then was, came out to warn the president that it will not be allowed in Lagos and that Nigeria will not be, the democracy should not be derailed in our country. In 2013, because of insurgency in the Northeast, President Jonathan imposed a state of emergency on 3 states, Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe. He was under pressure by anti-democratic forces. Remove the governor. And some of us came out to say, Mr. President, it is not permissible under the Constitution. And we challenge the people who are asking you to remove governors to point out the section. They refer to Section 305. Section 305 empowers the president to adopt extraordinary measures to restore a state, law and order, either in a state or in the entire federation. Are you suggesting that if a state of emergency is declared on the federation, pursuant to Section 305, would the National Assembly remove the president, or the president will remove himself? So please, it happened even in 2021. The then Attorney General, Mr. Abubakar Malami SN, announced that the federal government was going to impose a state of emergency on Anambra State. And that means they will remove the governor. We came out to say no, the president does not have such powers. And in fairness to President Muhammadu Buhari, he never did that. Of course, they claim that he has been suspended, not that he has been removed or impeached. It's the governor purportedly suspended. We are saying there is no law that allows a suspension of an elected officer, just like the National Assembly. The courts, not less than 10 judgments, have said you cannot suspend the legislator. When you do that, you are denying the constituency representation, either in the National Assembly or in a status of assembly. I'm talking of decided cases. I'm talking of the law. So the administrator does not have the control of the forces of coercion in Nigeria. It is the president that is empowered by the constitution to restore law and order in any part of the country. The governor doesn't have the power. Talk less of a sole administrator whose appointment is unknown to the constitution. You said he took an oath. Under what section of the constitution? The man said, I'm taking an oath under the constitution. Were you appointed by the constitution? Were you elected by the constitution? Please, let's not politicize what is clearly a legal matter. If we are not careful, what stops the president from saying, oh, there is crisis in the southwest or in the entire southeast? The available remedies in any democratic society is the law court. Unfortunately, on 2 occasions, the Supreme Court refused to pronounce on the legality or the constitutional validity of the suspension of governors. In the case of Plateau State, in the case of Ekiti, the Supreme Court held that the attorneys general that sued to challenge the constitutional, the aberration, did not have the local standard. In other words, they were not authorized by the sole administrators. How could the sole administrators have instructed them to go to court? But this time around, those who are affected, those who have been removed or suspended from office illegally, have the right to approach the court for legal redress. No provision in Section 305 that allows the president to remove or suspend the governor. What it requires, and what that section says, he shall adopt extraordinary measures, which will mean increasing the security in the state. There is a state of emergency has been imposed on rivers. Does that empower the president to remove or to suspend the governor, the chief judge of a state, or judges in that state without going through the NJC? Please, Section 11 of Section 4 says, even when the National Assembly, as in this case, if the sole administrator wants to pass the budget of that state now, he will have to go to the National Assembly. But that section says, on no ground shall the governor of a state, the deputy governor of a state be removed. All this, the Constitution has set out, stipulated the conditions under which the office of a governor may be declared vacant, either temporarily or permanently. We say in law, the express mention of one thing is the exclusion of another. There's no provision in the Constitution for the suspension of a governor. A governor may be removed from office on grounds of ill health, if he dies in office, if he's impeached, or if he resigns. And those are the conditions under which a governor can lose his seat, whether temporarily by way of suspension or removal by impeachment or whatever. Once those conditions are set out, you cannot go to Section 305 and read into it what is not there. The express mention of those conditions is the exclusion of any other suspension. Now, I am saying there are decisions of the court on this matter. If a governor cannot remove an elected chairman or councillor of a local government served by the Supreme Court, can the president remove an elected? So the last one is that I'm happy we're saying that Section 305 allows the president to declare a state of emergency in the entire federation. If the country is at war, now who is going to prosecute the war? Will the president resign, or I hereby remove myself? In 2013, he warned President Jonathan not to remove governors in the Northeast region. The law, as it was yesterday, is the same law today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Falana.
Action is illegal.